There are certain Genesis songs that fly under the radar in the sense that they are not necessarily ever played live or big live staples. They are maybe not a single, or maybe were a B-side. Perhaps they are never talked about when people name their top 10 favorite Genesis songs, but at the same time, they're great songs. And nobody really speaks ill of them. They're not like a classically hated song. And today's song, Taking It All Too Hard, falls in this category. I'd also put maybe Man of Our Times in there. You could do maybe Living Forever, perhaps, or Way of the World, although some people don't like that song. Maybe Like It or Not as well. These are just like deep cuts. They're deep cuts that like most people don't have a problem with them, but they never make it on people's top 20, top 10 favorite Genesis songs. Taking It All Too Hard is a song that I really, really like. And every time it comes on, I feel like, man, I should listen to this song more often. I encourage you to take a minute and listen to this song with headphones, because you really start to hear this production that became synonymous with Genesis and with Hugh Padgham and with Phil Collins, of course. And this, to me, is a song that almost could have worked on. But seriously, because there is these percussive sounds and keyboard sounds that are happening all around the headspace. I bought a Walkman. You know what that is? A cassette tape player. It's a new one though. I should bring it up sometime and show you. It is has like a rechargeable battery, USB-C, and it has Bluetooth, but it plays tapes. It's so cool. It's by We Are Rewind. Check them out. Anyway, I bought it just, I was so curious about it, and I have a warm spot, a soft spot in my heart, not a warm spot, a soft spot in my heart for cassettes. And so I bought it just for fun. And I grabbed the first tape I saw, which was Shapes, put it in, and walked to pick up my kids from school, listening on my Apple AirPods to this Walkman that was in my pocket. It was such a great experience. Anyway, I heard this song. It was kind of like on an old cassette, so it didn't sound great, but I just realized, like, man, this is just a really pretty song. And a really locked in groove, a groove that would be similar to I Know What I Like, a groove that would be a slowed down version in a way of a very tight groove in the same way of That's All, a very tight groove in the same way of Throwing It All Away. Just really some really nice hi-hat openings and just some very subtle tom work. And then a crash is placed over in one ear. And then the sounds of the keyboards are just like washing over the track in just a really subtle way. There's also what sounds like a electric nylon string guitar that's either an actual electric guitar that's played on clean mode, or it is a synthesizer patch emulating an electric guitar or a nylon string guitar. So I'm thinking it's the latter, but I'm not quite sure. There's so much to like about this song. There's really nothing to dislike about this song. If you don't like the kind of soon-to-be 80s sounds of Genesis, like Throwing It All Away and Hold On My Heart, then maybe you don't like this song. But to me, this is a really, really beautiful song. Also doing that kind of squashed little bridge sound, or what would be maybe the pre-chorus, that really kind of makes the song a bit darker in the tone of the album, and then it blossoms back out into the chorus. I think it's wonderful. You know where I was really turned on by this song, where I was kind of, because when it's a deep cut, when it's like deeper in the album, or it's not Mama or That's All or Home by the Sea, it's just not talked about. You forget about these songs. That's why I love doing these song reviews, because you forget about these songs. And so I had literally forgotten about this song. I just never think about it. I personally am not a huge fan of Just a Job to Do. It's like more rock and roll and more aggressive. It's not I know a lot of people out there probably prefer that to this song we're talking about today. I'm not a crazy fan of Just a Job to Do. I do like this whole album. In fact, it's a damn near perfect album in my opinion, with one exception that I don't really blame them for. But even that's a great musical piece. And the last bit of this record, from Taking It All Too Hard to Just a Job to Do to Silver Rainbow, It's Gonna Get Better. Those are beautiful songs. Anyway, what was my point? My point is that we forget about this song. So I heard this recently in its pure form on Daryl Stuermer's Another Side of Genesis, I believe the album is called. It's a kind of a nylon string tribute to Genesis by Daryl. And it was released around just after We Can't Dance, I believe. It's hard to find. I would love, I don't think it was ever done to vinyl. I don't know if it was done to cassette. I think there are probably CDs kicking around, but I haven't found one. You can still stream it though. And it is a kind of a Brazilian Spanish sound to Genesis, and it's really lovely. And you hear some of the songs played in their purest form. And this song, Taking It All Too Hard, listening to Daryl play it, playing the melody on the guitar, it was like, oh man, this is a really nice song. It's a really chill, maybe a little too adult contemporary for some people. That's where I live. I love that sound. So I thought it was fantastic. And Daryl really turned me onto this song. And then I went back to the album and was like, yeah, no, it's a really good tune. Let's take a look at some stats. It is the sixth track on the album, Genesis, by Genesis, what some of us call Shapes, self-titled, from 1983, a great year. There was a really, really talented and handsome Canadian podcaster, YouTuber who was born in that year. Look him up. Fantastic guy. Really, really attractive. Doesn't look a day over 30. Anyway, I'm seeing that it was a single. This I did not know. So it looks as if we had Mama, That's All, Illegal Alien, and Taking It All Too Hard as singles from this album. No music video was made for this single. Very CP70 heavy from Tony Banks. I completely agree with that. Do we have any charts on how this did? I'm seeing that there was a 7-inch cover with them hitchhiking that also features Silver Rainbow as the B-side. I do not have that. I'll be looking for it. Okay, the single was only released in the US in the summer of '84. It peaked at number 11 on Billboard Hot Contemporary chart and received significant airplay, but stalled at number 50 on the Billboard Hot 100. Let's compare that to Illegal Alien. Illegal Alien went to number 44. So Taking It All Too Hard didn't do as well, almost the same as Illegal Alien. Home by the Sea was a single, but not in America or the UK. Let's compare it to That's All. Okay, That's All went to number 6. Wow, on the Billboard Hot 100. Number 6 for That's All. And Mama went to number 73. Wow. So Mama wasn't that great for them on the Billboard Hot 100. It went to number 4 in the UK. It went to number 5 on Mainstream Rock. But wow, Mama wasn't a pop song for them. That didn't do well. That's All did way better. That's All went to number 6. And then by the time we get to Taking It All Too Hard, it only goes to number 50. Very interesting. Okay, that's all news to me. Mike Rutherford has said that side A of Shapes, self-titled album, he thinks is their best work, or one of their best work. Mama to That's All to the Home by the Sea suite. And I think it's only 3 songs technically, or mostly 3 songs. So it's kind of hard to judge by that, but I would agree. I think those are great. Those are great tracks. But I think when you say that, and when you put all that emphasis on those 3 live staples, and those 3 massive songs of Home by the Sea, That's All, and Mama, it's easy to forget side B. And I think because side B starts with Illegal Alien, which hasn't really stood the test of time, it really puts the B side of the self-titled album as an underdog, as a forgettable section of their catalog, which is a real shame, because Silver Rainbow is incredible. It's Going to Get Better is incredible. A lot of people like Just a Job to Do. I think it's a fine tune. And then there's this tune, Taking It All Too Hard, an absolutely stunner of a track that has been overlooked for so long. And I would honestly say, is this not their most underrated song? Very little people hate this song. It's a beautiful tune. It's not too Phil Collins, as the critiques would begin to say after this album. It's not too Phil Collins necessarily. It's more Tony Banks than anybody else. And even though I don't think we really know who wrote it. This was back in that era where they kind of assigned everything to the whole band. But I would venture a guess to say that this is probably the most underrated Genesis song. Have we ever done a video on underrated, underappreciated? I'm sure we have. Anyway, I love this tune. I'm going to go listen to it now, as you should as well. And let me know in the comments what you think about it. I don't think this was ever played live. Maybe they demoed it. Maybe they played it once on the tour, but I don't think it was. Let me know what you think about this tune. Is there anybody here who don't like this song? Or do you agree with me? Is this one of their most underrated tracks and underappreciated tracks? Thanks for watching.